Welcome to the podcast of Philippe. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into TinyML.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's this fascinating field where artificial intelligence meets the tiniest of devices.
Really?
Yeah, and we'll be exploring real-world applications of TinyML, how this technology operates offline and on a very, very tight energy budget,
Interesting.
and what that means for its potential, especially in developing countries.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll explore how TinyML stacks up against the energy giants of big AI.
Okay.
And a quick reminder, we need your help on YouTube to reach 1,000 subscribers today.
Yeah.
So hit that button if you are enjoying this deep dive.
So TinyML, it's really changing the game. We're used to thinking about AI in the context of powerful computers and massive data centers. But TinyML brings those capabilities to devices as small as a microcontroller.
Wow, so we're talking about AI that can run on a tiny chip,
Yeah.
potentially even off-grid.
Exactly.
What are some examples of where this is actually being used?
The possibilities are pretty remarkable. In India, for example, a researcher named Bala Murugan is using TinyML-powered drones to scan cashew orchards for signs of disease. The system can detect problems with 95 to 99% accuracy, allowing farmers to intervene early and reduce reliance on pesticides.
That's incredible. That kind of precision could revolutionize agriculture.
Yeah.
Not just for cashews,
Right.
but for all sorts of crops.
Absolutely.
And I understand there are similar applications in other areas of agriculture as well.
Absolutely. In Brazil, João Yamashita developed a device that uses TinyML to analyze coffee leaves for disease. It's incredibly accurate, achieving rates between 96 and 98%, and it costs less than $20 to produce. This is a game changer for small-scale coffee farmers who can now monitor their crops without needing expensive lab tests.
So these examples demonstrate how TinyML can really empower individuals,
Right.
giving them access to technology that was previously out of reach.
For sure.
What about applications beyond agriculture?
Well, TinyML is also making waves in healthcare. Wearable devices now have the potential to monitor vital signs continuously and detect anomalies in real time,
Wow.
all without needing a constant connection to the internet. Imagine a smartwatch that can alert you to a potential heart problem before you even experience symptoms.
It's amazing to think that this level of sophisticated analysis is happening right there on our wrist,
Yeah.
powered by such a small device. And I understand there are also environmental applications as well.
Yes. TinyML is proving invaluable for environmental monitoring. The ability to operate offline in remote locations makes it perfect for this. One example is Marco Zannaro's work developing acoustic sensors that can identify dengue-carrying mosquitoes.
Oh, so you could deploy a network of these sensors in areas with limited infrastructure and get early warnings of potential outbreaks.
Exactly.
That could have a huge impact on public health. And I read about another project using TinyML to track something a bit less pleasant, plastic waste in rivers.
That's Rosdiadi Norden's work in Malaysia. They're using TinyML to map the movement and accumulation of plastic waste, providing critical data for developing effective cleanup strategies.
These applications are really impressive. TinyML seems capable of doing so much and on such a small scale. But how does it compare to the massive AI models we hear about, things like ChatGPT?
That's a key distinction. While large language models like ChatGPT might grab headlines, they come with a hefty energy bill. ChatGPT alone uses as much energy in a year as 50 average U.S. households. TinyML operates on a completely different scale, using just milliwatts of power.
So while those massive AI models are impressive,
Right.
they're also incredibly energy intensive. TinyML offers a much more sustainable approach to artificial intelligence.
Exactly. And that efficiency opens up a whole new realm of possibilities, particularly in places where energy resources are limited.
And that brings us to the potential of TinyML in developing countries. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. The ability to operate offline with minimal power requirements makes TinyML a perfect fit for regions with limited infrastructure. We're seeing this play out in Africa, where TinyML is helping countries leapfrog ahead in AI innovation, even without widespread internet access or powerful computing resources.
It seems like TinyML could be a game changer, democratizing access to cutting-edge technology and empowering communities around the world. Are there any challenges or limitations we should be aware of?
One of the biggest challenges is the need for more trained specialists in TinyML. Designing and optimizing these models for such constrained environments requires a specific skill set.
So while the technology itself is promising,
Yeah.
there's a shortage of people with the expertise to really harness its full potential.
Precisely. However, there are positive developments. Universities like Harvard and the ICTP are offering specialized training programs to bridge that gap. And we're seeing growing interest from tech giants like Apple and Microsoft who are exploring TinyML for applications in their own products.
That's encouraging. So despite the need for more expertise, there's a real sense of momentum building around TinyML.
Absolutely. And I think that momentum speaks to the transformative potential of this technology. It's making AI more accessible, sustainable, and locally relevant. It's enabling solutions that address real-world problems in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations for a better future.
It sounds like we're just scratching the surface of what TinyML can do.
Yeah.
It's exciting to imagine what the future holds for this technology and the positive impact it could have on the world.
It truly is an exciting time to be following the developments in TinyML. The fusion of AI and these incredibly small devices has the potential to reshape our world in profound ways. It's fascinating to consider that TinyML really represents a shift in our thinking about AI. We've become so accustomed to the idea that artificial intelligence requires just this immense computing power.
Yeah.
But TinyML shows us that we can actually achieve really amazing results with far fewer resources.
It's like we're moving away from that bigger is always better mentality and embracing this more efficient, streamlined approach.
Exactly. And this shift has profound implications for accessibility. Imagine a rural community in a developing country that lacks reliable internet access or the resources to invest in large-scale computing infrastructure. TinyML empowers them to deploy AI solutions that address their specific needs using devices that are affordable and can operate independently.
That's a really powerful example of how TinyML can level the playing field,
Yeah.
making advanced technology available to those who have traditionally been excluded. But with AI becoming increasingly integrated into our lives, even on this tiny scale, what about the implications for privacy?
That's a really important consideration. As AI becomes more pervasive, we need to be very vigilant about protecting individual privacy. However, I believe TinyML actually offers some advantages in this regard. Because data processing happens locally on the device,
Okay.
there's no need to send sensitive information to the cloud,
Right.
reducing the risk of it being intercepted or compromised.
So in a sense, TinyML can actually enhance privacy by keeping data localized and minimizing the amount of information that needs to be transmitted.
Precisely. And because TinyML models are typically designed for very specific tasks, they only collect the data that is absolutely necessary for that function. This targeted approach further minimizes privacy risks.
It sounds like TinyML could strike a good balance
Yeah.
between functionality and privacy, which is crucial as we navigate this increasingly interconnected world. But while we've talked about the potential benefits, are there any limitations to what TinyML can achieve?
Certainly, TinyML isn't a replacement for all forms of AI. There are still tasks that require the computational muscle of those larger models. And even with its efficiency, ensuring the robustness and reliability of these tiny models presents an ongoing challenge.
What do you mean by robustness in this context?
Well, TinyML devices often operate in very unpredictable environments. They need to be able to handle noisy data, adapt to changing conditions, and make accurate decisions even when faced with unexpected inputs. A lot of research is focused on making these models more resilient and adaptable.
So it's not just about shrinking the models down.
Right.
It's about making them smart and capable of functioning effectively in the real world.
Exactly.
What are some of the most exciting areas of research within TinyML right now?
One area that's particularly fascinating is federated learning for TinyML. This approach involves training models on decentralized data sets without ever exchanging the raw data itself.
I'm not sure I follow. How can you train a model without actually having access to all the data?
Imagine a network of TinyML devices, each collecting data about a specific task or environment. In federated learning, each device trains a local model on its own data and then shares only the model updates with a central server.
So the server essentially acts as a conductor,
Yes.
orchestrating the learning process across these distributed devices.
Yes. And this approach has incredible implications for privacy-sensitive applications. Consider personalized healthcare, where you might have thousands of wearables collecting data about individuals. Federated learning allows you to train a model that benefits from this collective knowledge without ever needing to centralize or share the raw personal information itself.
That's remarkable. You're tapping into the intelligence of these distributed devices while preserving the privacy of the individuals involved.
That's right.
What other advancements or trends should we be watching for in the TinyML space?
Well, the integration of TinyML with other emerging technologies like 5G and edge computing is a game changer. This synergy will lead to even more powerful and versatile AI solutions that can operate in real time and respond to dynamic conditions.
It's incredible to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Imagine swarms of TinyML-powered drones connected via 5G monitoring crops with incredible precision, or networks of sensors providing real-time situational awareness during a disaster, guiding rescue efforts, and potentially saving lives.
These scenarios, once the stuff of science fiction, are rapidly becoming reality thanks to the convergence of these transformative technologies.
The potential benefits are undeniable. But as these systems become more complex and interconnected, do you foresee any potential downsides or risks that we should be mindful of?
It's crucial that we proceed thoughtfully and address potential risks proactively. As we build these intricate networks of intelligent devices, we need to ensure they are secure, resilient, and transparent.
What steps can be taken to ensure that these systems remain under control and don't inadvertently create unintended consequences?
We need robust security protocols to protect against malicious attacks and safeguards to prevent system failures. And perhaps most importantly, we need to maintain a strong emphasis on human oversight. Ultimately, these technologies should serve humanity, not the other way around.
So it's about finding a balance between innovation and responsibility, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, while also ensuring that these advancements align with our values and contribute to a better future.
Absolutely, and I think that's a key takeaway from our exploration of TinyML. It's not just about the technology itself, but about the vision it represents.
A vision of a future where AI is more accessible, more sustainable, and more equitable, empowering individuals and communities to solve problems and create a better world.
Yeah, it really has been a fascinating journey, hasn't it, exploring the world of TinyML?
It really has. We've seen how it's being used in fields like agriculture, healthcare, and environmental monitoring. And we've discussed its potential to empower communities and make AI more sustainable.
Yeah.
It's clear that TinyML is already having a real-world impact.
Right.
But what does the future hold for this technology?
Right.
What trends and developments should we be keeping an eye on in the coming years?
Well, the integration of TinyML with other cutting-edge technologies like 5G and edge computing is going to be transformative. This convergence will lead to even more powerful and responsive AI solutions that can operate in real time and adapt to changing conditions.
So we could see these networks of TinyML devices communicating seamlessly with each other and with edge servers,
Yeah,
creating this truly interconnected web of intelligence.
exactly. This could revolutionize industries like precision agriculture, where swarms of drones could monitor crops, identify issues, and even apply targeted treatments autonomously.
Yeah.
Or in disaster response, where sensor networks could provide real-time data to guide rescue efforts and minimize casualties.
The possibilities are truly mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But as these systems become more complex and interconnected, are there any potential downsides or risks that we need to be aware of?
Well, as with any powerful technology, we need to proceed with caution. It's crucial to ensure that these systems are secure, resilient, and transparent. We need to safeguard against malicious attacks and system failures and maintain strong human oversight to guide the development and deployment of TinyML responsibly.
So it's not just about pushing those technological boundaries, but also about ensuring that these advancements are used ethically and for the benefit of humanity.
Precisely. TinyML has the potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges, but it's up to us to ensure that it's used wisely and for good.
TinyML really is a fascinating field, and it's been incredibly insightful to delve into it with you today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure discussing this transformative technology and exploring its potential to shape our world.
And to all our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive into TinyML has been informative and thought-provoking. If you have any thoughts, questions, or predictions about the future of this technology, we'd love to hear from you. Head over to the comments section and share your insights. And don't forget to subscribe to Le Podcast de Philippe on YouTube to help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.